This is Channel 13.
Living side by side, dreaming 2 by 2. You are the reason that we do what we do for you. Yeah, for you. We do it for you on WIBW.
Welcome into our WIBW Digital News Center on this, a Throwback Thursday, giving you another trip into our WIBW Video Vault presented by Ace Plumbing, Heating and Air, and Appliance. We are talking history today. Of course, we always talk history on the Video Vault.
That's true, and the timing was kind of cool. I was online on our page yesterday, and I saw a story from our sister station, I believe.
Yes, KCTV in Kansas City. Shout out to them.
Yeah, what they had an announcement where there was something coming to Kansas City,
Correct.
right?
Yes. So if you have been paying attention, of course you have, you know that this July 4th is America's 250th birthday. So not only do we, through our partners with Gray Television, have the We the People campaign counting down to this July 4th, but nationwide we have the America 250 celebration, which has events going on all over the place. And one thing that's going to be taking place as part of the nation's celebration of our 250th birthday is some of the nation's founding documents are headed on tour. And they're calling it the Freedom Plane, and stop number 1 is March 6th in Kansas City at the National World War I Museum.
And that triggered something for me because not very long ago, sitting back in the little dark archive room.
Not very long ago. Thank you for making us all feel young who are of a certain age.
I just meant I had found
you
the
rediscovered
story
it not too long ago.
Just a month or so ago. So it popped into my mind, hey, this sounds similar to a story that we did back in 1991. So
that's the year I graduated from high school.
Well, I was not here. I was very close to being here, but all the folks that I'm seeing in the stories, I eventually worked with. I was not here yet.
Yeah.
But I saw the story, and we actually had a couple of stories on it.
Now,
and,
I'm going to run down for you what was going on, what's going to be on the Freedom Plane. So the Freedom Plane at the National World War I Museum starting March 6th through I think like the 22nd. Let me make sure I have those dates correct. So March 6th through the 22nd, stop number 1 for the Freedom Plane is the middle of the nation, Kansas City, Missouri at the National World War I. The original engraving of the Declaration of Independence, one of 50 known engraved copies. The Articles of Association from 1774. George Washington's and Alexander Hamilton's and Aaron Burr's Oaths of Allegiance.
That's cool.
The Treaty of Paris. The secret printing of the Constitution in draft form. And the tally of votes approving the Constitution. Those are some of the documents that will be traveling on the Freedom Plane to Kansas City, Missouri. But we're more special in Topeka because we already had a VIP visitor of this sort in 1991, and it wasn't one of these.
No.
What was it?
You said, well, I'm going to back up real quick. You said the Freedom Plane. Is that what brings it? Because I'm old enough.
Yes, this is the Freedom Plane.
Back in I was a little guy, 76, we had the Freedom Train. That came. It was a big
Planes,
long,
trains, and automobiles.
We took a class trip there, I believe. A big long silver train, got to go on board, look at some cool stuff. Not this cool stuff, though.
Okay,
but, yeah,
but it wasn't one of these documents that came in 1991. What was it?
the Bill of Rights. One of what did they say in the story? One of 12 that they could document.
Ooh.
So very, very rare. And when you have something very, very rare,
it comes under security.
Yes.
So Doug calls me into the edit bay, as we call those places where we can view our video, and he says, "You got to look at what I found. This is what I think we should do for Video Vault this week." And I watched it, and I was like, "This is like rock star presidential level visit, maybe even more." That was surrounding this document that was a founding document of our nation.
Rock star of the nation, I guess.
So should we get right to it?
Sure.
From 1991, here is the arrival of the Bill of Rights in the city of Topeka.
That is the tour's secure transport vehicle, complete with gun ports. Inside it, a nitrogen-filled, climate-controlled capsule containing the Bill of Rights, one of the only 12 known existing originals that were distributed to the colonies in 1789. But security is so tight, they wouldn't even really let us see what was happening as they took the document out. Right now is one of the times of highest security for the Bill of Rights tour. Behind me, coming out of the secure transport vehicle, is the Bill of Rights being wheeled out on a special track. 26 former Marines who guarded U.S. embassies in the service are responsible for the Bill of Rights security.
I guarded like the vice president, congressmen, different important people around the world, and now I'm just guarding the Bill of Rights, and it's like, you know, the fathers of our country from way back when. And it just, I don't know, it's exciting to me.
The Bill of Rights is kept in a vault, monitored 24 hours a day, watched for temperature, humidity, pressure, and vibrations. They wouldn't even let us see it today, but this promotional video gives you an idea of how you'll be able to see it tomorrow through a bulletproof glass.
It's a priceless document, so we have incorporated state-of-the-art technology for security reasons and for conservation reasons.
Tomorrow the exhibit opens to the public, and you'll be able to see for yourself the security protecting the 200-year-old document that protects us. Russ Potasic, 13 News.
Okay,
All
be
right.
honest.
That's
What-
good writing. First
Yes.
of all, I was just going to say that's good writing there. The document that protects us.
That's Russ Potasic. He's one of the best.
Yes, absolutely.
But your first, when you saw that at the very beginning, before you learned too much about it, you saw these guys in T-shirts.
Oh,
and
there were
shorts.
shorts and a T-shirt. This is serious security, and then you learn about them like, oh, okay,
26
they are very
Marines.
serious.
So yeah, these guys knew what they were doing.
Absolutely.
And that vehicle, I mean, that's like something you would see in a war zone.
Right? And it was carrying around the Bill of Rights, which of course are very important. And so then, of course, as they mentioned there, the next day is when the ceremony was. That's Governor Joan Finney, former Mayor Butch Felker. Who are these folks?
Let's see.
You're kind of trying to identify. They're supposed to be characters from history, like Alexander Hamilton and the like.
I was going to make a joke about that, but maybe they were representing the folks who.
I mean, I would think.
Well, probably.
So then they're cutting the ribbon, as you do when
But
a new
watch,
exhibit
no
comes
giant
into town.
scissors back then, so we had to share a small pair of scissors. Got the job done, though.
Everybody got a piece of the display. And it was more than just the document. You can see they have video screens from throughout our nation's history and all the different historical things.
1991, so this was some cool stuff. It looks like it rises up, and you can see it. There's John Adams' signature.
That's under bulletproof glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really was just a neat exhibit. And
Did you go to it? Was
I
it
did
like
not.
a school trip or something?
No,
You were in college at the time, so
Exactly.
you were too cool for that.
Well,
You were playing basketball and stuff. But yeah, very cool display for the Bill of Rights when it visited Topeka back in 1991. Perfect tie-in to the Freedom plane that will be landing in Kansas City, Missouri here in just a few weeks.
yeah. So you kind of got a little bit of a look at what happened there. So
Yes.
finish the experience. Go to Kansas City when it gets here, and take it all in.
And it just shows, too, how much we respect these documents and what they stand for, that they're more than pieces of paper. These are the thoughts, the ideals, the principles that we as a nation stand upon, and we preserve them, and we put a priority on preserving them and also sharing them with our nation. So that I'm sure that Kansas City, Missouri, my goodness, you might have some school folks heading over on a trip. If it ties in with your spring break, take the kids over and see them and understand, obviously we appreciate the Bill of Rights because Congress shall make no law and all of that. We believe in, that was the First Amendment. We believe in the First Amendment and everything that is tied along with the Constitution.
Well, you never know who you'll see. Patrick's healing right now. Maybe he'll take the kids there.
You never know,
yeah, you
right?
might get to see some history and some current history.
So,
but, you could have easily put that in a big concrete building in Washington, D.C. and said, come on out and see it,
come
folks.
and see us.
But they took it out because not everybody can
On a
get
road
there.
trip.
So that's pretty cool that they took it out across the country.
Much like the Freedom plane is going to be on a road trip. But as has been happening, as Doug is doing this project, it's what we would call very linear, right? It's a videotape. It's not like a DVR where he can just skip from place to place to place, or the internet where he just clicks a new tab. You have to watch the tape in order. And so as he came across this story from 1991 and the Bill of Rights being on tour, it was at what was then the Kansas Expo Center, has now since been expanded and is our Stormont Vale Event Center. What do you follow up such a historic, important guest like that? What could possibly come into the arena to follow that?
Well, closely. I mean,
It was like the next couple days?
Yeah, they got this stuff moved back out. And the extra security and the stuff they had to do to set it up. Well, the next group that came in, I think the crowds were just as large. and the excitement was just as big.
And dare I say that they also, much like the Bill of Rights, have stood the test of time in this whole era of everything old is new again?
Yeah, cowabunga.
Are you intrigued? That was a tease. If you missed it, uh-oh, you missed it. But that is a hint at what you are going to see when this trip into the video vault returns. Welcome back into the WIBW Video Vault this week, proudly presented by Ace Plumbing, Heating and Air, and Appliance. We showed you a very special visitor that Topeka had back in 1991, one of only 12 known original copies of the Bill of Rights. And so that came under heavy security, a lot of attention being paid, lots of people went to visit. Doug gave you a little clue as to what followed it into the hallowed halls of
Four original
characters.
4 original characters.
Yes. You gave a hint, and I was a little nervous because I'm like, it's not Bart Simpson. Are you using a Bart Simpson phrase? Nope. But you have learned that these guests also used the phrase cowabunga.
Okay. They were heroes on a half show?
That is correct.
Am I right?
That is what they were. So
it's been a while ago.
How do you follow up the illustrious guest that is the Bill of Rights? Well, of course, you come in and welcome, in 1991, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, I don't know if there's a lot of security here, but it did take quite a fancy setup.
When the curtain goes up tonight, it's Cowabunga Dude. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are making their first ever stop in Topeka. Getting the heroes on the half shell ready for an awesome performance started early this morning.
We can keep going and doing every little thing and keep going until showtime. But normally it takes us 6 hours and we're up and running.
Delaney says fans who are shelling out $14.50 a ticket will not only get rock and roll, but flashing lights, smoke, and video monitors. He says it's a real high-tech show.
We've gone away from the violence. There's hardly any violence in the show at all. We have a situation where they use music to counteract the violence.
Even if you have one of the seats way up here in the rafters, Delaney promises it's one of the best seats in the house because you'll get to see Turtle Mania at its finest.
Personally, I would rather be up in the back because you have the large video screens. You can see a lot better from a distance away.
What's it like to travel and work with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Bizarre.
Michelle Bandur, 13 News.
Bizarre probably is a fair answer.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind, back then, the things that were big, in the 90s, obviously, that was one of them.
Well, and not just in the 90s, because kids today, you all are still seeing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles all over the place. They maybe took a little bit of a break. I don't know. I didn't follow Ninja Mania that closely to know if it had kind of ebbed and flowed over the years. I just know that they're still around and people are still doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle characters. Well, and when you went to the live show, they were, family friendly. There wasn't a lot of violence. They used music instead.
Exactly. And I'm sure there were tons of kids at the Bill of Rights events, but this thing, that's, I think, why it was so popular is because it was something the kids could go to, the kids could see, take part in, and they recognized it. Can you name all 4 of them?
Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello,
and George. I don't know.
And George.
Ringo.
We're going to find out who were the ninja. We've got this thing in today that they didn't have in 1991. Who were the Ninja Turtles? Get it? Leonardo! How can we forget Leonardo?
Okay, it
I'm
wasn't
sorry.
Ringo, so my bad.
I'm so not Ringo. John, Paul, George, and Ringo. Why do I know that off the top of my head? But of course, that was the setup. They invited us in, visited with us then. But it was kind of cool that you found this video as well because they hosted a little meet and greet, and
What
there
are
are
they eating?
they're eating pizza. I think I do believe that exactly, that they were known for their love of pizza while they fought evil. So of course they served. You knew more about this when we were looking at this video today. You were a closet Ninja Turtles fan in college.
I think it was. If it was on, I wouldn't turn it off. But we had a group of students from TCalc in here earlier touring, and one of them saw the turtles in the edit bay, and we got to talking about it. And it's not in this clip, but they also made some appearances at some grade schools in town, which I was explaining to them back. Nowadays we pick up our phone, we turn on the computer, we see all these events that are happening. Back then, that's how they got the word out. They would come to town, go to the schools, they would go to the people.
And we still see some acts do that. You had mentioned that the Harlem Globetrotters, when they do their shows at Stormontville Event Center every year, they tend to send some notes and say, hey, we're going to make these visits at this place or another place. And so that's kind of cool, I think, for the kids to learn what those acts are, what those groups are. The Harlem Globetrotters, of course, have been around forever. It is kind of cool, too, that I was seeing some video that we had in our archives here from a few years back where some of the Kansas City Royals were going on. And we kind of chuckled because Eric Hosmer was among the group. And it was like the year before they made the playoffs.
It was 2013, yeah, I think it was at Auburn Elementary.
Yeah, they got a little bit more in demand after that. We still sometimes, would see Casey Wolf and some of the Chiefs ambassadors making visits to our area schools. So school kids remember that, I think, that those special groups came and saw them. And imagine the Ninja Turtles walking into your classroom. They're kind of larger than life.
Well, they are.
As long as you're not scared of costume characters.
A little on the spooky side, but they were going down the row with the kids, and everybody seemed to love getting a high five from whichever one it was.
I also think it's cool that they let us come in and get video of this. I know sometimes folks, I know you can do it on your cell phone nowadays, and groups don't necessarily say much about it, but for us in media, they still do kind of control how much video we can take of any particular act.
Leonardo's a big fan of WIBW.
But I think yes, even though we forgot his name, Leonardo still loves us. I don't know which one is which. So all you Ninja Turtle educated folks can tell us which one is which one and how you tell them apart.
And are they really playing?
I don't know. It would be kind of hard to play a regular sized guitar with those giant fingers.
And those mic stands, they're running around, swinging them.
They were watching Steven Tyler and Aerosmith.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were really doing.
Hit. They were pretty talented.
So as you think about acts over the years that have graced the Stormontville Event Center and what was then the Kansas Expo Center, you can say the Bill of Rights and the Ninja Turtles were there one week in Topeka.
But Cher, Aerosmith, Garth Brooks, I would not have remembered the Ninja Turtles.
Paw Patrol likes to come back every once in a while too. So
I've yet to see that one, so put it on the list.
I don't really know all the acts that have been at Stormontville Event Center / Kansas Expo Center over the years. So if you have favorites, be sure to let us know in the comments. And I know you've been finding some video from the early days of the Kansas Expo Center becoming the arena that it is today. And maybe here, as they get closer to one of their anniversaries, we'll dig some of that out. And if you remember an act, you can see if we were able to go in and get some video of it.
Yeah, I've been taking notes on all of them. So once I get everything entered in, so I can just put a keyword. Right now, I just go through sheet after sheet looking at my notes, and my handwriting's not the best, but we get it done. But yeah, we could probably find just about any event. Rat and Poison. There's a big sign that said Rat Poison, but
music groups, not Rat Poison.
Yes,
R-A-T-T.
That was one of the early.
They had kind of ratty hair. Yeah, that was like hair metal.
That was a big.
That was my jam. I mean, early '90s. Heck yeah.
Yes, somebody asked me about that one once, and yes, I found it. Yep. We did go there.
True story. One of the first concerts in my life was Motley Crue. You didn't know that, right? Am I surprising you? Yeah. That was it. That was the '90s. The hair metal, the heavy metal bands that had better. And I was always jealous because all those guys had better hair than I did.
And I found a story recently where they brought in a Christian heavy metal band, and that was just a really interesting story to hear them explain about connecting with the kids, because they knew the other groups that have been through the Expo Center, Stormontville Event Center now. But they said, we play a great brand of music. We have the style. We have all that. So yeah, it maybe someday we'll pull that out
Nice.
and kind of compare a couple of the bands.
Well, I don't know if they're going to let any turtles in the door this weekend at Stormontvale Event Center, but they are turning themselves over to the horses. Equifest is coming back to Topeka. Equifest is set at the Stormontvale Event Center this weekend. It kicks off tomorrow. We're going to have a little bit of a preview on our 4 o'clock show, Eye on Northeast Kansas, later today. You can find that. It'll be online as well, or check out the Eye on Northeast Kansas tab of our WIBW app on Roku or your other streaming device if you happen to utilize that. And you can get a little sneak peek of Equifest before all the activities this weekend. And of course, we're keeping you updated on the weather situation that's moving in and affecting all of us as this weekend continues as well.
Yeah, might be a warm place to hang out.
Exactly, exactly. And to relive memories from our WIBW vault. Thanks so much for being here. Remember, if there's something from the past that you remember, one of our key events in Northeast Kansas history, let me know and I'll let Doug know. And we'll see if we can find it for a future edition here on the WIBW Video Vault. Stay safe, everybody.